All right, shalom, shalom. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kodash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders, the great millstone, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be, shalom, Yeshua, shalom. All right, we're going to get into an article here. There's actually something else it was another article I wanted to get into, but you know how it is. Sometimes you have it saved up and then you lose it. And so, I couldn't find it for nothing in the world. Probably spent the last 30 minutes looking for it, but I just couldn't find it. But I did come across something else, and it was actually an article that we posted up the other day. And there was a video attached to it, but we never got into the video. And I watched a few minutes of it, and it's kind of interesting. So there's a couple things I want to pull up here, because even though the main, I guess people or whatever country, as topic, they're not directly mentioned, but we know there's only going to be two dogs in this fight. All right, you're going to be with the American side of things, NATO, EU, Israelis, and all that, or you're going to be with the BRICS. All right, so I guess we'll read a few. Matter of fact, let's just start it too. It says, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them." That's speaking of Russia. It says, "And say, thus saith the Lord God, Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws." All right. And now this is what you see happening with Russia currently, all right, over the last several years, which really haven't been several years. They just been doing things, secretly, getting stronger. All right. Where America, is thinking that it's the hot ish. Okay. And all this, boldness and arrogance. Okay. The Russians were, secretly, finding a way to get stronger and get that revenge. All right. And now we're to a point where it's showing, all right, on the world stage. Russia has more weapons of mass destruction, and their weapons are more advanced, all right, than the Americans, all right. Russia would be number one, America's number two. So it says, "I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws." Getting back in that fighting spirit, that Soviet Union, USSR type of fighting spirit, all right, the bear, waking up the bear, sleeping bear. It says, "And I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." Yeah, all your military might, from your standing military to whatever kind of air force you have, and everything that you're able to be capable of on the sea. All right, whether it be on the waters or under the waters, submarines and things of that nature. All right, every area, train up, and everybody's fighting someone right now. Currently, the main fight of Russia is between Ukraine, but we know Ukraine is more like a backdrop, okay? So it says Persia, all right? It says, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, right? All these standing militaries. So it says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, all right? All of them armed to the teeth. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and these areas of up here, like Turkey over to Armenia, all right. It says, "and all his bands and many people with them." That's why Turkey is important, okay. So it says, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them," meaning to these other nations, as we BRICS, formulated, starting as BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, China. And then the following year after they were established, they added on South Africa and became the BRICS. Now, everybody that joins, all right, up with them from that point forward are known as the plus, all right, BRICS plus. BRICS are those core members. The plus are other members who have joined up, like Saudi Arabia, so on and so forth. So it says, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." And that's why the main two players are Russia and America. I don't really think I want. Then again, I guess I can read a couple more, because I want to stop right there at 7. But it says, "After many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come back into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people." And the scriptures talk about gathering everybody down to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. All right, scriptures talk about the Euphrates River drying up to make way for the kings of the east. and all those different things, because everybody's going to head towards that particular area, the general area of where the state of Israel is, all right, to do battle. It says, against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations. And what does it mean there? It says it's been always waste. Oh yeah, because we know people are living in that land, but as long as the true Israelites are not in that land fully, all right, it is a wasted land. All right, it's filthy. Okay. It says, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land. That's talking about all his troops and things, like we read up above. Thou, here it is again, and all thy bands, and many people with thee. And that's what we're hanging on, the many people with thee. Not just Russia, but these other nations. All right. And yeah, we'll probably stop right there. We'll get verse 10 and stop right there. It says, thus said the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, right? Which is ultimately to wipe out America, but also they're going to put destruction on the state of Israel. But the ultimate game plan is to wipe out America, all right? That's the plan of the Lord. Now, I want to go over here so we can move towards what we want to get to. Get this off the screen. No, don't want that either. Get off my screen. How do maybe I can refresh. Okay, here we go. So 2025 Indonesia military strength, right? So it's come on now. All right, so it says that the GFP index denotes Indonesia as a top 15 global military power for 2025. Right, for this year, for 2025, Indonesia is ranked 13 out of 145 out of the countries considered for the annual GFP review. The nation holds a power index score of 0.2557. A score of 0.0000 is considered perfect. This entry last reviewed January 8, 2025. I don't know what this is. I'll click it real quick. Okay. Ranking the nations of the world based on current available firepower. The finalized global firepower, that's what it stands for. All right. It says ranking below utilizes over 60 individual factors to determine a given nation's power index score, with categories ranging from quantity of military units and financial standing to logistical capabilities and geography, right? And that's all I want to, figure out there. And I believe that's pretty much it there. Power index. Yep. So you can look at all those yourself. Okay. So as we go back, come on, here we go. All right. So it says manpower is the single most important category, followed by the GFP index, and one of the few that is satisfied by every nation. The following values detail the maximum theoretical persons the nation can commit to a war effort. Mobilization values are based in patterns influenced by the major participants of both World War I and World War II over a proposed 4-year wartime timeline, taking into account basic training, equipping, and transportation. Now, this is not my area of expertise, so I'm just reading, certain things to make the point here as we jump over. So we're not going to really go into this heavy. What else is that? Is that it? Okay, so that might be it. I thought there was more, but it's okay. Trying to get back up to the top. Bear with it. Just got stuck there. Come on. All right, here we go. So yeah, 2025 Indonesia military strength. So it says they're ranking 13 out of 145. Okay. Now, this is why I read Ezekiel 38, because Indonesia may not be mentioned, but they're still part of the BRICS, side of things. All right. Let me just move forward here. I'll just leave it. So this is the article I put up the other day. So it says BRICS grows, adding Indonesia as member, world's 4th most populous country, 7th biggest economy. All right. Now, I kind of glazed over this the other day, but when I went back into the video, I was like, this is actually more interesting than what it sounds. It's not just another member here. Because this morning I went in what we just read over there, their military. I typed in, does Indonesia have a standing military in 2025? And that's what it came up, which was a surprise. All right. So it's not really a small thing there. They may not be prophetically mentioned with those other nations that were mentioned in someone says 2025 in Ezekiel 38, but they still pose somewhat of a threat. So it says the Global South-led organization BRICS has expanded again. Indonesia, the largest country in Southeast Asia, has officially been admitted into the group as a full member. Indonesia is the fourth most populous country on earth, with the seventh biggest economy. All right, BRICS now has 10 full members. These are Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, which are the core. And then the plus, Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, United Arab Emirates, or the UAE. Another 8 countries became BRICS partners in January 2025 as well, including Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, Uzbekistan. The following is a map of BRICS members and partners as of January 6, 2025. All right, and you can see that map there. That's that map I think I took a screenshot of the first time. It says BRICS makes up 41.41% of global GDP, which is not a small number because it's almost half. All right. Now, ultimately, at the end of the day, we know that everybody's in with the global, we'll say agenda, okay, which is to take everything digital and so on and so forth. But on the world stage, as according to prophecy, these things have to play out the way they're playing out, or it has to happen and so on and so forth, because that's part of the prophecies. So let's play this video here.
BRICS continues to grow. Every few months, basically, there's a new announcement about BRICS expansion. This is an organization that brings together the countries of the Global South, formerly colonized countries, so they can collaborate and to develop economically and to create alternatives to the Western-dominated financial system. BRICS was China. I created an updated map showing the membership of BRICS as of January 2025. There are now 10 countries that are full members of BRICS, including the original 5, plus Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. As of 2025, there are also 8 partner countries in BRICS, which means that they're on the path to becoming a full member in the near future. The 8 partners of BRICS are Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, and Uzbekistan. There are also 5 countries that were invited to join BRICS but have not officially given a response yet. Those are Saudi Arabia, Algeria, Vietnam, Nigeria, and Turkey, or Turkiye. I created several charts that show how important BRICS has become in the global economy. This is using data.
And, just real quick, I didn't mean to skip this thing. But yeah, because I almost went over that one. But notice it just mentioned Turkey, right? Because that was mentioned in Ezekiel 38, those general areas. But as we mentioned, Turkey over to Armenia, Georgia, that particular area there, around where it's like the Black Sea over there, that general area, the Caspian, one of those two. I think one's on the east, one's on the west. But that general area that I call the Buddha Russia, down there where Georgia, Armenia, all those areas are from. So yeah, Turkey is a major one. All right. Should they flip over, which they are going to prophetically, but how that's going to happen, we have to wait and see how that plays out.
I created several charts that show how important BRICS has become in the global economy. This is using data from the IMF World Economic Outlook as of October 2024. The 10 full members of BRICS, now that Indonesia has been added, together represent 38.8% of the entire global economy when you measure GDP at purchasing power parity. And then when you add in the new 8 partner countries, so you have 18 members and partners of BRICS in total, this is often referred to as BRICS Plus, together they represent 41.4% of the global economy. I also took the data of the G7 economies and compared them to the BRICS Plus economies, and I made a chart that illustrates how BRICS is now significantly larger than the G7. The G7 is the group of 7 rich countries that is the West plus Japan. These are the countries that colonize most of the world. That is Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. As of 2024, they only made up 29% of the world economy, compared to 41.4% for BRICS.
Yeah, that's major.
And this is a huge shift because back in 1992, the G7 economies made up 47% of the global economy. And the current BRICS countries, obviously BRICS didn't exist in the 90s, but back in 1992, the current BRICS countries only made up 22% of the world economy. So this is an absolutely massive shift in the past 3 decades. And the trend is very clear. Over time, BRICS share of the global economy is increasing, whereas the G7 share, the West share of the global economy, is decreasing over time. Now, the addition of Indonesia to BRICS is very important because Indonesia is one of the largest economies in the global south, and it has been growing very quickly. In fact, in 2023, Indonesia overtook the United Kingdom and France. Its economy is now the 7th largest economy in the world. Indonesia's economy represents 2.4% of global GDP, PPP, whereas the UK and France each only represent 2.2% of the global economy. But think about how much the world talks about countries like the UK and France as if they were still powerful countries, but economically, they're not that powerful anymore. Indonesia has a larger economy. And once again, the trend is going in a clear direction. Over time, Indonesia's share of the world economy is growing, and France's and the UK's share of the global economy is shrinking. Now, what's interesting about Indonesia's admission to BRICS is it actually came as a surprise because previously at the BRICS summit that was held in the Russian city of Kazan in October 2024, Indonesia was invited to become a partner of BRICS on the path to becoming a full member. However, in January 2025, the Foreign Ministry of Brazil announced that Indonesia had become the newest full member of BRICS. By the way, Brazil is currently the chair country of BRICS. So every year, BRICS has an alternating chair. In 2024, the chair was Russia. In 2023, the chair was South Africa. This year, it's Brazil. And Brazil actually announced that Indonesia had been invited to become a full member back at the summit in South Africa in the city of Johannesburg in 2023. However, Indonesia asked for a delay because it had an election coming up. So Indonesia wanted to wait until after the election in order to become a full member of BRICS. Indonesia's new president, Prabowo Subianto, took office in October of 2024. And as of the 6th of January, Indonesia is now officially a full member of BRICS. Brazil emphasized how important this is, noting that Indonesia has the largest population and the largest economy in Southeast Asia. And Brazil said that Indonesia will work together with other members of BRICS to support reforms to global governance institutions and will deepen the cooperation of the global South, which are priorities for Brazil as the president of BRICS this year. So those are the 2 main goals, according to the current chair of BRICS. It is to reform global governance institutions. That includes institutions like the United Nations and financial institutions in particular, like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. And also the other main goal of BRICS is to deepen cooperation of the global South. China's foreign ministry also confirmed that Indonesia is now a full member of BRICS. It congratulated Indonesia, and Beijing said that, quote, BRICS is a main platform for promoting solidarity and cooperation of the global South and a major force driving the reform of the global governance system. BRICS countries are always committed to multilateralism, fairness, and justice, and common development. BRICS' latest edition follows the historic trend of the collective rise of the global South, end quote. Indonesia's addition to BRICS is also quite symbolic because Indonesia was one of the co-founders of the non-aligned movement back in 1961. This was at a time when the Cold War the United States was waging was heating up, and the Global South countries in the non-aligned movement said that they refused to join in the Cold War. Instead, they wanted to create a new system based on cooperation and economic development, opposing colonialism. Indonesia's leadership role in the Global South was also deeply symbolic because in 1955, Indonesia had hosted the famous Bandung Conference that brought together formerly colonized countries in Bandung, in Indonesia, to get together to discuss how they can cooperate, to increase trade, to lift their peoples out of poverty, and to support the further decolonization struggles, because at that time, in the 50s, there were still many countries that were colonized by the Western powers. At the time, during the 1955 Bandung Conference and the 1961 creation of the non-aligned movement, Indonesia was led by a leftist anti-imperialist leader named Sukarno. However, in 1965, the United States backed a military coup that overthrew Indonesia's President Sukarno and created a military dictatorship that carried out one of the most horrific massacres of the 20th century. With the support of the CIA, the Indonesian military dictatorship killed between 1 million and 3 million leftists in Indonesia, destroying the Communist Party of Indonesia, which was one of the largest communist parties in the world, and killing many labor organizers and progressive activists. The CIA admitted that this is one of the worst mass killings of the 20th century, and it was supported by the United States. And the people of Indonesia,
because he's getting into a lot of different things there.
During the First Cold War.
We pretty much made our point.
And it's not just Indonesia. China is the largest trading partner of all of ASEAN. It has been that way for well over a decade. And the share of its total trade that ASEAN does with China is increasing over time, whereas ASEAN's trade with the EU and Japan is decreasing over time.
We can stop it right there. If you want to watch the whole video, you can watch the whole video. As a matter of fact, did I keep that page? Yeah, I did. So let me do this. Yeah, perfect. Let's do this. How about let's grab this. We'll close it off just to hit a few more scriptures there. All right, Revelation chapter 20. All right, so I really want to jump down. Let's get verse 3 at least. So it says, and then again, you can't really read 2 without 3, without 2, without 1. So as I saw an angel, Revelation 21, come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. Okay, bottomless pit being Europe, that area there, which is pretty much northwest Asia. All right, and this angel is Yahushua. All right, and that chain symbolizing the great, time period of, I guess you could say captivity, if you will. But this is the time period where Western Rome fell. All right, and then up came the Byzantine Empire, and these guys were just, they were not like they disappeared, but they were nobodies. Okay, these Edomites. He says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Now, if you listen to the churches, you think this is some kind of, which is crazy because at one minute, Satan got kicked out of heaven. Then the next minute, you got demons chained up in Antarctica. All right, none of their stories make sense, man. Okay. So it says, and cast them this 1,000 years is the time period of the Byzantine Empire being in rulership, from 1,000 to 1,100 years. All right, from I don't know, it's around the 300s to the 1300s, and then you get from 13 to the 1400s, the time of the Renaissance period. Renaissance meaning rebirth, which we're going to read down below. It says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more. And we're going to this word seal before, which is different. Fragizo, all right, for security from Satan, since things sealed are concealed, all right, in order to mark a person or a thing. All right, so to seal upon mark with the seal. I don't think we need this here. seal placed upon books, signet ring, inscription of impression made by seal, the name of the Most High and the Messiah stamped upon their foreheads, and that's dealing with the Israelites, more so the remnant, which is in Revelation, thereby like 14, thereby which anything is confirmed, proved, authenticated as by seal, token of proof. So we're talking about shutting this devil down, right, for a time period, okay? Basically putting, because the scriptures mention him being the basis of men. And around this time when Western Rome fell, that's exactly what they were, the basis of men, okay? How you hear about the wild men and all those different things there. So it says, and that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. And that's where we are now. That little season is the season of Idumea. And when you jump down here, okay, look, and it pairs up with what we just read, Ezekiel 38. This is, it has all the way from verse 1 to 23. Okay. But in particular, right there, it says 39. And that's actually speaking against Russia, that chapter there. So Revelation 27 says that when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. All right. Byzantine Empire fell to the Ottomans. Okay. Up came, these Edomites back out with their Renaissance period. Renaissance meaning rebirth, where the heathen laid open the book of the law, sought to paint the likeness of their images, Sistine Chapel, all that different Renaissance time period, Renaissance art, Renaissance romanticism, all these different things that came back up from Esau, Edom, and his way and his lifestyle. And it has spilled over, today in real time, because America is a result of all those things. It says, and shall go out to deceive the nations, which they have done. It talks about that in Habakkuk chapter 2. I believe it's like verse 5, if I'm correct. All right, the wine, that fornication. Okay, or more so the wine is not actually dealing with drink. Make sure we state that. The wine is dealing with, its policies, its way of life and thinking and governing and so on and so forth. All of its ways that have spread to the other nations. And that's why the scriptures talk about the nations are mad, because you drunk from that cup. You drunk the wine. You jumped in bed with the whore. And now you realize she done stole your wallet while you were asleep. you wanna fall back. Well, okay, do so, but you're not innocent, okay? Because all of you still came against us Israelites, man. At the end of the day, it says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, who we just mentioned before, right? Gog and Magog, talking about Russia, all right? It's not talking about two different places, just one thing. Gog, Magog, ma being of or from in the beginning of a word. So, Gog from Gog, all right? So it's talking about Russia. And right now, the leader is Putin, because we don't know. It could switch up, but it looks like Putin might be that one. But as of now, it's Putin. All right, it says, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Okay? And that's what we just read in Ezekiel 38, which is why it links up there. Okay? And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about, who are the saints, the Israelites. All right, Psalms 148, 13, 14. 14 being the point verse. It says, and it says, in the beloved city, and fire came down from the Most High out of heaven and devoured them. Okay, and ultimately, the elect are going to be delivered from the hands of Esau, Edom. Let's grab Joel 3. So it says, Joel 3 and 2 says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel. Not Israeli, Israel, being the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, those speckled birds scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, whom they had, and more so really just the elect, but you get the point, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And that's exactly what happened, all right? In those different slave trades and captivities and, being conquered and so on and so forth, all right? Because those Northern Kingdom Israelites came over here and they ended up having their history with those, conquistadors, pilgrims, Puritans, whatever name, these colonizers, as I like to summarize them as, all right? And conquer them for their treasure, mostly being that gold and stuff like that. And then they saw that there was more to be had. And so they went back across seas to grab the southern kingdom of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and the so-called Negroes, West Indies, and Haitians. And that's when they started that transatlantic slave trade, all right? From Spain all the way down there to Africa, and, really all across those waters, man. When you go look at the slave routes, all across those waters, man, okay? And so the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. Israel and Judah being the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, meaning all of the 12 tribes. And where we oppressed all together at? One place, which is here in America, all right, in this West. So it says, I will plead with them for my people, my heritage, all right, Israel. And plead means destruction. That word there is shapat, man. He's going to destroy them, okay? To judge, govern, vindicate, punish, you see? To execute judgment, right? And what is this judgment to be executed? To pour upon them the indignation of my anger, all right? Which the indignation is the Lord's righteous anger, okay? As a matter of fact, let me grab this real quick. Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, said the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, as we're reading right now, to pour upon them my indignation. There you go. You see? Even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy, which will be Yahushua, the angels, and nuclear missiles, which are the weapons of the Lord's indignation. So going back, and it says, whom they have scattered among the nations, right, in part of my land, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink, all right? And we were just booties unto these people. And I'm not talking about butts, all right? We was, what's the word? A commodity, okay? Where it would be slave labor or trade a slave for rum and or whatever, it says they gave gifts to one another. I believe that's in Revelation. I can't remember exactly how it's worded. But those gifts for slaves, okay? Revelation 18 mentions of slaves and souls of men, okay? So it's all over the scriptures. And that's part of the curses anyways, that we will be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth under heathen nations, serving gods, which us nor our fathers have known, even wood and stone, so on and so forth. That's why I like to constantly quote that. We'll read it today. That Zephaniah 1. Right? In 15. Is it or is it hold on. It's around here somewhere. There's one. Was it Zechariah 1? I think it's Zechariah. Let me get Zechariah. Hold on, let me back up. Zechariah 1. Yeah, there you go. Zechariah 1 and 15. And I am very sore. Okay, as a matter of fact, let me get 14. It says, so the angel that communed with me said unto me, cry thou, saying, thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. Who you think it's talking about? It's talking about the true Israelites, all right? It says, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, meaning all these nations, the other 17 nations, man. For I was but a little displeased, talking about with us, and they helped forward the affliction, talking about how they went overboard, especially Esau. Esau didn't just go overboard, all right? He pushed us overboard, got on his diving suit, went down there, and then drowned us some more, and then came back up, okay? And he intends to keep us down there, all right? Esau has done us the worst, but that goes back into the history, man. Two manner of people, two nations in the womb. Genesis, the 25th chapter, man. All of the nations are our enemies, but Esau is a sworn enemy from the womb, okay? So he doesn't just have a regular hatred for you or because you're black, all right? No, that's not it, okay? Because there's different shades, okay? It's not about a skin color to him. It's about who you are, which really goes back to that birthright, man, okay? Genesis 25, Genesis 27, Hebrews 12, verse 16, 17, okay? Goes back to that birthright. They know that you're going to receive the kingdom. They know you're going to rule forever and so on and so forth. All those different blessings mentioned, immortality, which he wants so badly, okay? Those things are meant for you. He knows that. He understands that, man. So that's why it's so crazy, which is not crazy. I'm just, in the sense of explaining. You hear people who don't want to believe that they're the Israelites. We don't have to believe it, man. Okay, because this man believes you're an Israelite. All right, he's coming to take your head off if you don't conform to his system, man. And that's what's going to happen to a lot of these two-thirds out there. Because there's going to be some who are going to be rebellious, not because they got any kind of truth. It's just that they're just going to be rebellious and they're going to be taken care of. You're going to have 2/3 who are just going to buckle under the system. All right. And then you're going to have 2/3 that are also, because of those first two categories, just going to be put to death, period. All right. Nothing but trouble is coming for this planet, man. When they shall sell peace and safety, right? Then shall the destruction cometh upon them, and they shall not escape. So it says they held forward the affliction, man. So as we go back, it says, and yea, what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because there's nothing that any of these nations can do, especially Esau, Edom, all right, that to appease the wrath of the Lord for putting your hands on his people, as the scripture say in Isaiah, for the controversy of Zion, man. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children of also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. But I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And that's called payback. It is a righteous thing to recompense those that trouble you, man. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord Yahweh hath spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, which goes back to our topic here, all right? Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And pretty much the main people we spoke about was Indonesia. They were most recently to join the BRICS. And, surprisingly, as I looked up their, military might, they have one, okay? So it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. There's no time for economic, building. Now, it looks like that on the world stage, but ultimately, what these nations are doing is preparing for World War III. All right? Though they seem like they're focused on advancing themselves economically, and we're going to de-dollarize and all this kind of things. Yeah, they're doing those things, but the main focus is war. And that's why you see drills. That's why you see battles. That's why you see wars being fought now, right? That's the main focus. That's according to prophecy. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Okay? And eventually, the angels are going to start to show themselves. Yahushua is going to be here. And that's going to be it's going to be, a world craziness, man. All right? All the nations fighting. Angels here. All right? Man. Hey, you got to have that protection of the Lord. It says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Not a few of you, not some of you, not the main enemy, not the least of you all 17. Okay? For there will I sit to judge, the word judge, all right, it goes to the same word as plead, which is shapat, all right, to destroy. He's going to judge, he's going to vindicate, he's going to govern, all right, all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision, all right, which is going to be there in the so-called Middle East, all right, over there in Asia, okay, where all this is going to eventually go down. And then it goes on to talk about the nuclear destruction, but we're going to leave it right there. I think the point is made. So, that was all I had for you. So, Lord will, you will edify to next time. I'm going to say shalom.